السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alaikum, Sheikh. I have this OCD that relates to sins, and it mainly relates to lying, backbiting, and disrespecting my parents. And at times I get confused a lot on whether I actually did it or not. And at times I over apologize, and my parents get very annoyed when I do that because they don't find the thing as a big deal or an issue. They don't find it as disrespectful. And for example, for backbiting, I'd see I backbite a friend of mine, but then I do as a joke and they don't mind. But I get very paranoid and I apologize to them, and they themselves get annoyed because they don't find it as an issue. And for example, for lying, I get confused whether I actually did it or not. And there's a bunch of other issues, but I get really confused a lot with my attention. I don't know if I did the sin or not, and I don't know if it's a sin or not. And it makes me very paranoid.
Well, first of all, Akhi, you need to learn your religion. I cannot explain to you how to solve each and every doubt you're getting unless I get a scenario by scenario case where I would explain to you and tell you that this is not riba, this is not disrespecting the parents, this is fine to do, or this is not fine to do. So maybe you do require a counseling session for 30 minutes where we would sit and talk about it case by case scenario. But generally speaking, backbiting is mentioning your brother in his absence with something that he would be annoyed if he were to know. So small things that you and I may say, knowing that our friend would be fine with it, and we roast one another like this, usually we joke about it, this is not backbiting. Things that you may feel that your parents were not fine with, but they're not disrespected and they don't feel that you've committed a sin, yet they would have loved it the other way. You should not go and apologize, especially when you know that the consequence of your apology would be far greater than what you had done, meaning that you would cause them to be annoyed or upset for repeatedly apologizing over these things that they think it's natural. So you have to weigh the pros and cons and weigh the consequences, and accordingly you act. And this is the Islamic way of doing things. We weigh and estimate and forecast the consequences of our action. If it is positive, we go ahead and do it. If it's not, we refrain. It's not the other way around. We shoot, then ask questions. No. We have to know what will be the consequences of our actions or of what we say.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, as we bring this response to a close, it is worth pausing to reflect on the insightful guidance we have just heard. What we have learned today is a reminder of how important it is to have balance in our understanding of Islam. Our religion is one of clarity, ease, and mercy. When doubts begin to overwhelm the heart, especially concerning sins or intentions, it is often a sign that a person is striving sincerely to please Allah. Yet, at the same time, Shaitan may use these whispers to push a believer towards unnecessary anxiety, guilt, or self-blame. Islam teaches us to act with knowledge and certainty, not with confusion and endless questioning. Constantly apologizing for matters that are not truly sinful or offensive can sometimes cause more harm than good, especially when it brings discomfort to those around us, like our parents or friends. Therefore, it is important to seek knowledge, consult scholars when in doubt, and maintain moderation in all things. Our faith is not meant to burden us, but to bring peace to the heart and mind. By learning our religion properly, we can distinguish between genuine sin and mere whispers of doubt. We must remember that Allah is the most merciful and that He judges us by our intentions, sincerity, and efforts, not by our intrusive fears. May Allah grant us clarity in our thoughts, peace in our hearts, and firmness in our faith. And may He make our worship a source of tranquility rather than distress. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.